Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome back here. Welcome in to a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Thursday. Appreciate you starting your day here with us. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. We're going to talk to Chris Blair at 8:15 this morning. You could hear it in Blair's voice last night. Him and John Brady excited to call a win for LSU basketball as the Tigers put an end to their 13-game losing streak as they were led by KJ Williams, who had a season-high 35 rebounds. Adam Miller also contributed 14 points with 3 assists as LSU, as we said, gets off of the 13-game skid, which has been a long, long time. That's good to see the Tigers get a win last night. So we'll talk a little bit about that. LSU baseball hits the road, headed to Round Rock, Texas. They'll take on Kansas State tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll talk to Chris Blair about that matchup. We'll see Paul Skeens again as he will toe the rubber coming up tomorrow. We will also talk about what yesterday, I thought Doug Thompson closed the door on a speaking line, on a talking point that a lot of people have been curious about, and Paul Skeens and his obvious ability to hit the baseball, but just too important to the pitching staff, so I doubt that you will ever see him batting DH or hitting, just because of just how important he is to the pitching staff. So we'll talk a little bit about that too with Chris Blair also coming up here at 8:15 this morning. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Metropolitan Health Group, Real Doctors, Real Solutions. Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan bringing you our phone line, and of course Go Chevrolet driving us every single day. GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet and Nick Richard. And Lee Carney and the crew down in LaPlace, Louisiana. The Carpool Queen is back.
Hey.
Off of the college tour.
Off the college tour. I think I
Game
probably
day.
had something to do with LSU winning last night because they played Vanderbilt. And I was at Vanderbilt probably when they were warming up. You know, David had on an LSU
Did you put something in the water or something?
I might have done. I did something, right? Some kind of voodoo magic was done. But what a game. I mean, we listened to it on the way back from the airport. That was amazing. Such a good win. And then that puts them on the track to keep the winning streak up and beat Ole Miss on Saturday.
Hopefully they got a shot here. I mean,
Yeah,
really, they
I
got
think
a
they do.
chance. I mean, I think Ole Miss they're skidding as well. You know, I mean, they've struggled here. It seems like the Sharks are circling around Kermit Davis in Oxford.
The Land Sharks.
Yes, the Land Sharks.
No pun intended.
Are circling.
I thought it was the Bears now. What is it?
Either. I think they answered to
It
either.
depends on what the day is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The old Rebs.
Like, I thought you were a rebel, but
But
Sharks
I think
is
LSU's
cool.
got a chance. They got a chance to put 2 in a row together.
They definitely
For
do.
sure. I mean, look, if they play like they did last night, they were aggressive
Yeah.
last night. For the first time, I mean, they were really kind of bringing the fight to the game. I mean, offensively, they were they were taking good shots. They shot 45% last night from the field. They shot 43% from the three-point line. I mean, compared to what some of these numbers have looked like in some of these losses, that's a really good night for LSU.
Okay, is this their first win in 2023?
It's their first win in 2023.
That's weird, right? I thought I read that, and then I was like, that can't be right.
Because their first conference game was against Arkansas. Was that?
That might have been in December.
That must have been the end of December.
Like right before New Year's.
Yep.
Yikes.
December 28th.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
Just imagine the last 2 months, like
I
just going
know.
to practice, like going to games, traveling to games. It's like,
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But here we are.
I'm checking the official date on this.
And to see if it really
on
is.
this game, yeah.
I think it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's right, but that just seems really weird, right?
Well, I mean, it's just. Oh,
I know. It's hard to say that.
That is brutal to just say out loud.
It is pretty brutal.
But, yeah, I mean, look, losing streaks are tough. And I think, you know, when you're talking about what Matt McMahon has been tasked to do, you know, the motivational aspect of keeping a team, you know, just like willing to and wanting to show up to the arena in times like this.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know it sounds very, you know, elementary and very trivial, but I mean, that's the type of attitudes and personalities that usually blossom during losing streaks. Is just people that check out, tap out. I mean, you just kind of lose complete and total interest. And one thing that LSU has not done, I think that at times you've questioned and wondered where their energy's at, but I've never questioned whether or not they quit. Yeah, like whether they've given up. Look, they've gotten run out of some places. You know, I mean, they've gotten beat down. They've also been in some really close ones that you thought they had a chance to win them. And you know, in a losing streak where the ball doesn't bounce your way, where everything seems to go against you, it's easy, very easy to check out of a basketball season. I mean, it's just very easy to show up to the arena, put your 2 hours in, go through the motions and get out of there. I thought, you know, LSU and Matt McMahon, one thing, if we're taking away a positive of, you know, just what we've been seeing, is that, you know, they're fighting for him, right? So
yeah, and starting that second half was a little scary because Vanderbilt was not scoring for a while, and then they came back for those 3 straight drives, and I was like, oh, no. And then they closed it up, and then LSU came back.
Adam Miller looked real comfortable last night. He looks
he
like
did.
he looks
he
back
was
to
attacking.
himself.
You know, I mean, he was. That's who he is.
Yes, Jordy.
You know, I mean, like that's his game. I think, you know, asking him to, you know, facilitate and play one-on-one. I mean, sometimes that's just not who he is. And last night he looked very comfortable in his game. I mean, that's really kind of how he's meant to be used.
Well, and he said, his quote after the win was, he said, we locked in. It was a different kind of energy at shoot-around and practice this week. And I think I read that Matt McMahon said the same thing, that it was the shoot-around was really great, and they went straight from that into the game. And, I mean, obviously there's a different energy there.
Yeah.
So maybe we're on a winning streak.
Good for them, man.
Yeah.
See if the ladies can't turn it to 2 in a row or back-to-back nights for LSU basketball, as they are in Nashville.
I know.
They're at Memorial Gymnasium, which is one of the cool places to play in college hoops, or at least, you know, one of the things that you need to at least see one time if you've never seen it. But they'll be in Memorial tonight playing against Vanderbilt Tigers, a favorite here, and should stay rolling. But we'll see what happens, as they will be at Vanderbilt this evening for their matchup on the floor. So that's some stuff that we can pay attention to. We talked a little bit about the Malik Nabers story yesterday, an update on Nabers and his situation coming out, that he was arrested on Monday night at Mardi Gras on a weapons charge. According to the court documents that have been published, and I saw them over at Fox 8 News down in New Orleans, it looks as if Nabers is going to be okay. The charges against Nabers are going to be dropped under the condition that he does not pursue regaining the possession of his firearm.
But it's his, right? I mean, did I read that correctly? Like he had, that's his gun, right? And he has a right to carry it. I'm going to sound really dumb because I don't know the law about that.
I don't think that there's a concealed carry in New Orleans.
Okay.
Or maybe even Louisiana.
Okay.
And so from what I was told, and this might be hearsay, and I hate to even put this out here, but I mean, what I was told is that he was like walking through to like go from one, I guess maybe party to another.
Yeah.
And cops were asking people to lift their shirts up as they were, like walking in. So I think what they are saying is like he was like illegally searched, maybe.
Okay.
It's like they were like, pick up your shirts or something. Like he was just walking through and like he had one on his waistband, and they arrested him.
Yeah.
But
he had the right to have the gun. Is that right? Because he owned it. Okay.
I don't know.
But I think if he did, that is his right.
I would think so. I would think so. And as we said yesterday, like if Malik Nabers told me that he feels safer in New Orleans with a gun on his hip to protect himself, how can I argue that?
I don't know, Jordy, but it's still something about like a student athlete walking around with a gun.
I get it,
like
but you got to understand New Orleans right now
I
is
know.
probably one of the most dangerous places in the world.
Everybody in Nashville reminded me of that.
Well, I mean, they don't have to.
I know.
Just look at the crime. I mean, look at what's going on. And Malik Nabers is a recognizable figure. Mm-hmm. He's someone that people will approach without, you can't see people coming. They know who he is.
Sure.
Again, I'm not advocating, I'm not excusing, and I'm not saying, one way or the other what's right or wrong. I understand a person of his stature wanting to be protected in New Orleans right now. I mean, it makes too much sense. And again, that's what I heard on the arrest. And like I said, the latest on it is that it is charges are going to be dropped.
Yeah. So
Stephen Johnson, you can't carry a concealed weapon without a permit.
So we don't know if he had a permit or not.
It sounds like he didn't.
Okay. But I mean, don't you there's a part of me that likes that the police in New Orleans are checking people for guns, right?
No, because they check the wrong people.
Right.
Like if you look at Malik Nabers, and if you would have saw some of the people that were on Bourbon,
sure,
you would have been like, okay, like he's not the guy you need to be checking.
Right.
He is.
But were they just checking? Were they just?
They were just randomly searching. Like they checked Ron.
They did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could just almost imagine like they were just randomly selecting people out of a crowd of people that just stopped.
What a cluster. I mean, honestly.
The 10 cops that they do have in New Orleans.
Exactly.
So,
that's sad.
Yeah.
But one student athlete who is linked
oh my God.
to a murder last night had his career high. Brandon Miller
points
from Alabama
41?
had 41 last night. And look, Miller is in the center of a controversy that is starting to bubble in the news media, where people I saw yesterday, I was in, little Jay was working out at the place X Factor over there on Drusilla and Jefferson. Have you seen that place?
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to go in, though. It looks pretty cool.
Good spot, man.
Kids in there? Like a great kid place?
I mean, it's a great spot.
I gotta
Trey
get over
Duncan,
there.
who is a Baton Rouge legend, former LSU baseball player. He's over there doing some baseball training, but they have other training on hand as possible. Shaquille O'Neal's an investor in it. There's like a half basketball court in there.
No way.
I mean, it's...
So you could train for any sport? Any kid could go and get trained?
Sport. Like Jordan has been going for speed and agility training in the afternoons, just when he doesn't have practice and stuff, like to a kid's class. And it's fantastic. I mean, it is
We needed
fantastic. If you're a kid, if you are a parent looking for training opportunities for your kid, any age. I saw kids younger than Jordan. Jordan's 12. And all the way up to high school athletes. I've seen U-High's football team was in there working out the other day, going through some training exercises over there. But it's some it's some new age stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of good. For where Jordan is right now. I mean, he's not working out with a lot of weights, so it's a lot of band work. It's a lot of medicine ball work. It's a lot of body weight work, and
That's
just really
great.
kind of like the very microscopic skills of like muscle building.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's teaching him how to run. It's
That's
cool stuff.
what I'm looking for.
It's good stuff.
That's good to know.
Get over to X Factor and tell them that we sent you, because they do a great job over there. But Brandon Miller, who is a bona fide lottery pick. I mean, he's going to be
he's amazing.
top 3 pick.
Did y'all watch the game last night?
I watched parts of it.
Oh my God, I couldn't stop watching it.
I didn't watch the entire game.
It
but
was
you
fabulous.
could tell early on that he was on one.
Yeah.
Like that he was going to be on one. And
how did he block out all the crap that was coming at him?
You know, what that was, right? I mean, you talk to these athletes and you talk to especially these high-level athletes. And I think about, you know, the time when Kobe Bryant was going through his trial in Colorado when he was young in his career. I mean, he was still wearing number 8 at the time, and he's still at the fro. When he was going through a rape trial in Colorado, and Kobe was private airing from L.A. every single day to his court case in Denver, and then catching that jet after the court was done throughout the day and finding the Lakers wherever they were in the country. And it was like a 3-week stretch where he was going nuclear every night. And it was like he was releasing this just, you know, pressure, stress of what was going on. And last night when I saw Miller start to the game, I thought to myself, you know, he's at the center of a controversy that, you know, obviously does not feel good for him. It doesn't feel as if, you know, whatever shakes out of it is not going to be a good story for his, you know, just his future. I don't think that it'll hinder him, you know, unless he is proven to be an accomplice.
I know, but it's not proven, right, that he took the gun.
Kind of clear.
Yeah, but
right?
it was
like,
a police officer, right, that testified that he did provide the gun?
No, I think that the teammate.
The teammate said it?
They have text saying, you know, the guy is saying, hey, bring the gun. And Miller shows up. I mean, Miller had 2 gunshots through his passenger door. I mean,
that's so scary.
He was not only was like he on the scene, there's a report like his car was blocking her car in. You know what I mean? It's a bad deal.
It is.
I mean, like there's nothing good about it, and Nate Oates has really stepped in it the last couple of days, and it is, and there's by no means is there no humor, and I bring up the humor sense here because it's kind of like sarcastically funny that Dick Vitale and Tim Brando and Pat Forty and all of these loudmouths around college sports who claim they want to keep it so pure. That's their argument. All these guys are in bed with Calipari, Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, Rick Pitino, all these criminals that they would be labeled as in the eyes of these writers and sports followers and media members. Yet when Nate Oates comes out and says in a press conference that they knew Brandon Miller brought the gun to the scene of the crime a long time ago, like that they had been knowing this information, and then claimed that Miller was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And all of these protectors of the sport, all of these people that want to keep college basketball so pure and crusade against people who are just trying to help out kids, that they see them as felonies, as felons in the sport, right? Like that somebody tried to help out somebody by giving them a meal, paying them for transportation, helping them out in a time in their life when they need absolute financial assistance. That's the crime. That's the crime that Brando, Vitale, Pat Forty have stomped their feet and banged the desk on for the last 5 years of what they have to get rid of in the sport. Yet the number 1 team in the country's head coach can come out and say that he knew his star player was possibly an accomplice to a murder a month ago, has seen no repercussion and plays the kid every single minute. Now, if Nate Oates would have just come out and said, look, all I want to do is win basketball games. That's what I'm here to do. And until somebody tells me I got to sit Brandon Miller down, he's playing every minute. I'd have said, Nate, all right, because that's who I believe you to be. That's what I think you are. So if you'd have just come out and said it, oh, you know what I mean? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for shooting us straight. But the fact that he comes out and says, yeah, we knew about it. He just might have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's crickets from Vital, 40, Brando, all the protectors of the sport. The ones that want to keep it so pure. The one to make sure that the people that are out there that are possibly paying kids like everybody before them have done is the ones that are making the sport and giving it a black eye. I mean, isn't that just like, from a satire standpoint, hysterical? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that like so funny to step back and look at the hypocritical voices and hypocritical people that cover and really set the narrative for the sport? I mean, that was always my rub with Vital, was that, hey man, when you tweet, when you talk, the entire college basketball world is listening. So you have to have some form of responsibility to you that when you talk, like, you can't just cast a stone at one person when everybody around the sport that's been before him and by him has been doing the same thing. And the people that you know, the people that you've been protecting. Krzyzewski's the biggest thief in the game. He's the biggest criminal out there. And they do it like Coach K. Do what like Coach K? Get kids in illegally and pay them? That's what everybody's trying to do.
Make fake classes.
Yeah, Roy Williams making up fake curriculums. I mean, like the lady showed up from outside the line. She was like, "This class doesn't even exist."
Athletics 101.
You know what I mean, like, where is this classroom? Who is this professor? They're fake. They're fake. Roy Williams. He's the purest in the sport. All right, Dick, get the hell out of here, man. What about Nate Oates saying that he knew his star player could have been an accomplice to a murder? Like, I'm not really coming at Oates because that's kind of who I believe Oates to be. You know? I mean, I would kind of say if my guy, if Will Wade was in the same situation, he'd be playing the guy too. Because at the end of it, all those guys really care about is winning basketball games. And that's just the harsh reality of it. And I think Nate kind of stepped in it because he doesn't really know any better. You know what I mean? Like, he was trying to be politically correct and saying, I don't know. Until somebody above me tells me not to play him, I'm just trying to win. And the fact that there's nobody out there that's saying, yo, I mean, like, this might be bad for the sport.
Nate.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know that we're trying to get rid of all the people that might have been paying people under the table, but, you know, covering up a murder, potentially, it could be an issue, right? No? I mean, it's just, that's why, like, get those people out of the sport, man. The Dick Vitals, the Tim Brandos, the Pat Forties. Like, shut these hypocrites up, man. They want to crusade and stomp their feet and pound the desk over everything that they believe to keep everything pure. And it's like, bro, get out of here, man. Like, even Brando with this Dale Brown stuff. Again, Dale Brown and I have mended the fence. We talk routinely. I'm on his email list. But, I mean, the fact that Brando's out there crusading for Dale Brown, when he left the program, it was on probation. Like, it's almost like you're like, am I hearing this correctly? Like, I mean, like, is this really happening, that this guy is such a stickler for purity, and all he does is defend the same people that he's going after? So I know that Nate Oates is getting a lot of pushback over the last couple of days for his comments, and rightfully so. I mean, he didn't understand the moment. He had no sympathy at all for the victim in that moment. You know, I think he lost sight of all of that, which is inexplicable in his role. Somebody that, you know, when he speaks, a lot of people are going to listen, especially in Tuscaloosa. And for him to be detached in that moment, I thought was a bad look for Nate, for sure. But, I mean, who do we expect Nate Oates to be? I mean, was that really, really surprising that he was out there saying, trying to find the right word soup You know what I mean? Trying to find the correct word salad to get it by you. To just say, okay, yeah, Nate, you're right. You know, I mean, that's right. I mean, wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, we've been knowing about it. Like, Nate. No, bro.
That was the bad part.
Like, just come out and say, you know what? Until somebody above me tells me that Brandon Miller can't play, I'm just here to win basketball games. That you know, I'm not getting involved in the investigation. Have we had some information given to us? We have, but nobody has told me that he is a threat to get our school, him, our program in trouble. Until somebody tells me that he's going to be an issue for that, I'm not taking him off the floor. I mean, because he's the best player in the sport, possibly. Okay.
But they're in the thick of it. I mean, I'm reading now it was a police investigator that testified about those texts, that Miles texted Miller to bring the gun to the scene. But then the attorney said he never got out of the vehicle or interacted with anyone. He was never involved in a verbal altercation, like never touched the gun, nothing. Never knew anything was going to happen.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
I mean, like, what do you say to that? That's where we are with
that's
it.
That's come out. You know, I mean, like that part has come out. So, I mean, I think from a criminal standpoint, he's clear.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
technically, yes.
From a criminal standpoint, he is clear. Did he do something that you would obviously be like, yo, Brandon, what the hell are you doing, man? How are you in the middle of this stuff?
Just being there.
Yes. Like, what? You know, I mean, I'm sure that there have been a heavy load of those conversations from all levels to him.
Yes.
Not just his head basketball. I'm sure his parents, his agent, his, you know, the people, is whoever his shoe deal is. I mean, like, everybody is like, yo, man, I mean.
Yeah, you're going to ruin your life being
like,
in the wrong place at the
wrong time.
You're
going to have a great life.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't mess with this.
And how did he play through that? I mean, the booing in that arena was so loud. I mean, and
they were chanting to lock him up.
They were chanting lock him up.
Everywhere I'm telling you.
Oh, everywhere he goes.
Everywhere he goes now, this is going to be a story. This is going to be the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Now, what focus he has to play through that, though.
That's the
to play the kind of game that he did.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be every night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he definitely, in game one, on the road, like, that's a competitor's, take away the scenario. I'm not saying, you know, I'm just talking about dealing with adversity. Mm-hmm. That is a competitor's dream.
Yeah.
Like, that is like, put me in a situation where the world is against me and I got some bullshit in my head I'm dealing with. Like, let me just go get into therapy.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, and he did.
Therapeutic, I'm sure, for him. It's almost like you probably don't want the game to end.
No, that was a freshman record for Alabama, the 41 points in that game. I mean, he was unbelievable to watch.
Just be a shame.
Yeah. But, I mean, also, it was a close game. And South Carolina is pretty terrible, so that was a little weird for Alabama. But they pulled off the win. Thanks to him.
Right. At Jordy, imagine if Will Wade did this.
Oh my God. I mean, Dick Vitale would have been in front of the administration building with a pitchfork.
He'd be in Baton Rouge.
You need to fire Will Wade.
First he's paying players. Then he's an accomplice to a murder. He's a killer. Dick, are you dead yet?
We thought you died 2 years ago, Dick.
Lord have mercy, man. Shut up.
Oh, my gosh.
Good God. I mean, the hypocrites, dude. Like, nobody's anywhere on Nate Oates. Nobody says anything about Nate Oates. Yet, they think that somebody's paying under the table and they got to keep the sport pure. What? Tim, Brando, this is for you. Explain Ron Abernathy's role at LSU when he was with Dale Brown. What was he doing? What was his role at LSU? Didn't they catch him in an airport with cash? Like, when he's sitting in an airport with cash?
It's a lot of cash you got there, sir.
I mean, like, and look, I'm not banging on Abernathy or Brown for it, but I mean, like, that's the same stuff you're crusading against. Hypocrite, man. Hypocrite. I mean, it's a joke. Katie's Restaurant is a proud supporter of the Jordy Culotta Show. We are proud supporters of Katie's Restaurant. Katie's restaurant is located on Iberville down in Mid-City in New Orleans. katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com. Great menu. Menu is very expansive. You can go in there and find just about anything that you're looking for, including St. Louis-style pizza and some of the coldest beer that you'll find in the city. Go post up today at the bar for lunch, for evening, for dinner tonight, whatever you're looking for. It'll be packed. It'll be packed with the city. You can get the taste of the city, the feel of the city here on this post Mardi Gras mortem of Lent. Are you buy into Lent?
No, I'm not Catholic.
Okay, you don't have to be.
No buy-in?
No,
No
you don't
buy-in?
have to be, but no, I do not.
So you're
I
not
do
giving up
not.
anything?
It's kind of like New Year's resolutions. Like, I don't do that either.
it's kinda
Like, I'm
dead.
not, like, I don't understand the point. I get it, but no, we don't do that. But I think it's so interesting how Mardi Gras is the holiday that, like, it
Spurs
ends.
it?
No, like, but yes, like, because it ends
Yeah.
a Tuesday. Like, you know how Christmas, we kind of, like, take it into January. You keep your decorations up. You still keep going. Like,
It's over.
Mardi Gras is over, and you're getting your ashes, and then you're,
Well, no, I mean literally at midnight on Fat Tuesday, like I guess would be Ash Wednesday.
yeah.
Like they walk the streets like
Yeah.
to claim like it's over.
There were people giving ashes out all over Nashville, like all over Vanderbilt's campus. They'd come up to me, "Do you want ashes?" And I'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, hold on.
We're good. We're all good
I
here."
did the Ashes yesterday.
Yeah. So did Mark Wahlberg, and then he sat like on the Today Show with the ashes on his head the whole time. Yeah.
I mean, you
Little
know,
look at me, guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Little look
Yeah.
at me. Yeah.
I'm
Can't
like,
do this
I
interview any other
mean,
time, Marky Mark.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess you could.
And he's always wearing a hat. You're always wearing a hat, dude. You know what I mean? Like today's the day you didn't wear a hat.
Today's the day. Show
Big
those
Boston
ashes.
guy. Big Catholic guy.
That's true. He's a big Catholic guy. So no, I don't really.
Speaking of big Boston guy, our guy Brian Kelly is making some moves here for the special teams coordinator, and some names starting to pop up here. And look, yesterday I know that we went in on the move of moving Brian Polian, and the more people that I saw around town yesterday, and some people that I saw yesterday evening still kind of reacting to that news. I think that's the overall sentiment of what and how people feel on this. If people are very excited that it feels as if, not because of that, but it just feels as if Brian Kelly is really like, hey, you can't play around here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've seen Notre Dame fans like all up in our mentions.
Oh my
like,
God.
I mean, like, I've been telling y'all that since the day y'all hired Brian
have.
Kelly. And you're like, all right, man. Well, look, the difference here is that Polian can hang out at Notre Dame for 15 years. He can't make it one in Baton Rouge.
So what's his role now?
I
it said
think
he
it's like they have him dealing with some NIL stuff, some you know what? It's shuffle to the back.
Yeah, stay
Yeah.
in the back and stay in your
Shuffle
office.
to the back.
But it said it's an off-field role. Is
Right.
that what they said?
Read into that.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I think
Stay off the field, Brian.
I think they're trying to find him another job.
Clearly.
You know, I think that they're trying to move him completely out of the program. You know what I mean? Without being, you know, they're trying to do it respectfully.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which Brian Kelly would do it that way.
well,
Which is the right way to
because
do it.
He's a friend.
Exactly.
Because he's got respect for him. So, I mean, look, there's been a lot of people that have been removed in football a lot more brutal ways.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of people that go into work on Tuesday, grind until midnight, show up the next day to get a pink slip. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's a brutal workforce. It's a brutal job. You know, I mean, the ugly parts of it are disgustingly bad. This is rare.
Right.
You know, I mean, this is rare for someone at this level. You know what I mean? To get this type of treatment of, look, we're trying to reshuffle.
But
You know
they've
what I
been
mean?
closed for years, right?
What's that?
They've been closed for years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, he's been with him at a lot of stops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think, you know, the relationship of having a guy like Bill Polian, Brian's dad,
Mm-hmm.
as a resource is probably a pretty good thing in football.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's architected, you know, some really good football team. I mean, Peyton Manning, he had the Buffalo Bills teams that went to the 4 Super Bowls in the early 90s with Jim Kelly and that crew. I mean, he's been around some really good football. He did also say that Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. That is the
A
clip
running back. He said Lamar Jackson was a running back. That's the kicker.
That is the clip that he's kind of known for.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what got him like really
He
famous.
drafted Peyton Manning. He put a Super Bowl program together with the Buffalo Bills. Yet you Google Bill Polian, and all that comes up is his
Lamar Jackson
comments.
takes.
But I mean, like football is it's a relationship game, and to have access to a guy like Bill Polian, I'm sure is pretty, is a good thing. So making that move, as we said yesterday, I think is a clear sign that Kelly's serious about winning, and not that I question really whether or not that he was bought in on winning. I think that he just discovered, like, in the SEC, there's no margin for error.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can cover up my special teams coach at Notre Dame, and that's not being disrespectful to Notre Dame, but the expectation's not what it is.
Yeah.
Like it is in Baton Rouge.
He's learned that this
year. You know what I
year.
mean? Like it's been since, how long has it been since Notre Dame won a national title? What was it, like the 1980s?
Jesus.
Was it Tony Rice in like 88? Before that, I mean, it was a bunch of like white military guys that were winning national championships for Notre Dame, and somehow they got this reputation as being a football school, yet the expectation year in, year out doesn't even come close
1988.
to the elite levels in the SEC. I mean, the expectation in Athens, Tuscaloosa, and Baton Rouge would blow people away in South Bend. And I think Brian Kelly was like, this ain't South Bend. Like, Brian, Polian, you got to go, bro. I can't have you on the staff here. I can't pay you $600,000 to be our special teams coach.
God,
and we
I
can't
know.
cover a kick.
But typically, like, wouldn't Polian move on to another school at this point
Yes,
instead
but
of kind of stepping down?
I think that was the message after the season. And he slid his resume around football, and 3 months later he's like, can I do anything around here?
I'll clean the bathrooms.
Gosh.
Give him this title for the next couple of months. See if
Yeah.
we can't shift him out of here. I mean, I just think that when you
tough.
get to this level, when you get to a school that is every single year expecting to win the national championship. When's the last time Notre Dame expected to be in the college football playoff? You know what I mean? Like maybe once over the last 10 years, this is our year. We're going to do it this year.
COVID
At
season.
LSU, even on a down year, you could backdoor into a playoff. Even on a down year, you can go to the SEC championship. So the expectation after a down year going to the title game is you better be in the Final Four next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people are thinking. Like, this is a Final Four team, right? Because you didn't have anybody on that roster, and you made it to the league tournament. You made it to the league championship. And I mean, if you can't block for your punt team, it's just not going to last. Some names I would watch out for as far as special teams coaches are concerned. We mentioned this yesterday. Matt Biaggi, who is the special teams coach at Ole Miss. He is a guy that has some familiarity with Brian Kelly. He was a shadow staffer at Notre Dame a couple of years back and has caught on and worked some special teams unit. Very familiar with Kelly.
Is he trying to leave, though?
I think, well, in comparison's sake, I think the LSU special teams job compared to the Ole Miss special teams job is an upgrade,
Sure.
both financially and in talent. So this is an elevated move for him. I think that he would walk to Baton Rouge
Okay.
from Oxford to get this one.
Yeah.
A name that might be off the board here to watch out for is Bob Diaco. Diaco is a former UConn head football coach and somebody that is very, very familiar with Brian Kelly. They've got, their coaching time and existence has overlapped. There are young names out there like Biaggi who I think, make a lot of sense. He's a really good recruiter, Biaggi, at Ole Miss. He is someone who is worked in the SEC, knows Brian Kelly, knows the staff, understands what the expectation would be, makes a lot of sense. Diaco goes back a long time with Kelly in the sense of he's a little older. He brings more experience. You wonder how in touch he would be from a recruiting standpoint, because one thing that's evident from Kelly's, when he lays out the protocol for the job, you've got to be a developer and a teacher, and you've got to be able to recruit as well. I mean, one thing that you look down the line of his guys, of his staff, they all seem to have some type of recruiting pedigree and some type of teaching pedigree. That's the combination it looks like he's really searching for. Like Brody Miller said, it's become evident what Kelly is looking for in the transfer portal. When he goes out and he's looking for somebody in the portal. Now, take away last year at this time when he was trying to build the roster, where he was just taking just about anybody who was interested in LSU, and especially if you had Louisiana ties, it really kind of gave you an advantage of getting a scholarship from LSU. Now, as they go back with the roster a little bit more secure, they're looking for experienced guys. They're looking for guys that have played a lot of football. They're looking for guys that have been in a leadership role on their former team, wherever they have been. There are certain points and criteria. Did you see the social media come out about Deion Sanders, given the qualifications of what he's looking for in recruits? Like some of the background information he wants in a quarterback. He's only recruiting a quarterback out of a two-parent home.
No way.
Yes.
Only going to recruit my quarterback out of a two-parent home, has more than a 3.5 GPA, and has been on the captain of the team.
Wow.
That's what he's looking for. His offensive lineman, two-parent home, 3.2 GPA, and somebody who is kind of like a personality. Kind of is, not only do they like football, they're like a chemistry mate. They got outside interest. Defensive tackles, he wants single mothers. He wants hungry. He wants, I got to prove it. I got to buy my mom and my grandma a house. And he got on a podcast and said that out loud.
Yeah.
Has anyone else ever said that or
not
recruited that
publicly,
way?
Not publicly, but this is public knowledge in the football world.
But now Deion Sanders has said, look, hey, don't let them fool you. This is what everybody's talking about behind closed doors. And this is what Colorado is looking for in their recruits.
That's strong.
And he came out and just laid it out. Said, if you're a quarterback, we're not recruiting you unless you come from a two-parent household.
Damn.
If you're an offensive lineman, we're looking for a two-parent household specifically. If you're a defensive tackle, I want single mom kids.
Single mom one.
Because D tackles are just
they got to be mean,
tough, and nasty.
Mad. They got to be pissed off.
They got to
say, hey, man, it's been me against the world since the day I entered.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Nobody counted me and my mama in. As soon as the day comes when I can make her happy, build her a house, give her that dream, it's going to happen. And whatever I got to do, whatever wall I got to run through to get there, put it in front of me and watch me do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just the honesty of it.
Yeah.
It is very honest.
And I think that, Kelly is behind closed doors. He's saying about his transfer portal guys, like, hey, we're not taking anybody anymore unless they check these boxes. A guy like Omar Spates
checks
every box. Guy's played a ton of football. He's got over, it seems like 1,000 tackles. I mean, he's got like over 300 tackles, and he was the captain of the team last year. I mean, it was everything that you were looking for in the trend. Now, I don't know if you can get somebody like Spates every year that is like uberly qualified, but I mean, it's evident like he's gotten to a point where you can handpick now. You don't have to take everybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to take like the masses just to fill the roster. Now the roster's a little secure. Now with the transfer portal, what do you need specifically? Mm-hmm. Like what is, like Vanderbilt last night, Jerry Stackhouse was talking about, they picked up a guy in the portal that has become like their defensive specialist. And he was explaining, like, that's what the portal has allowed people like us. He's like, I knew we needed to intensify our personality on defense in the offseason. He said, so when I got into the portal, I asked my assistant, I said, give me the list of the top defenders in the portal. Who's the top defenders in the transfer portal right now? And he said, like, the guy gave him, like, a list of, like, 5 names. He pulled up the 5 on YouTube, watched their video, and was like, this is the one we need because he's a dog. He was like, he's a competitor. He may not be the best one. He said, but mentally, that's what we need in our locker room. We need a tough kid. We need somebody that's not been, spoiled their whole life.
Yeah.
In the sense of, their best player, Jordan Wright, went to Dunham.
Right.
At Vanderbilt. And I'm not, Jordan Wright's a stud. He probably played in the NBA.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of personality than you usually recruit out of South Louisiana. Usually you get out of South Louisiana the hungry, determined, I got to make it, right? And, you know, I mean, I think that's some of the things in recruiting that, you know, is very much discussed.
Yeah.
That doesn't get put on the table for a lot of people publicly to realize,
Clearly.
like, hey, man, wow, behind the scenes, they're having some really granular
I mean,
conversations.
yeah,
about
they
People are
are.
kind of mad at
What they're
Dion
looking
for
for.
saying that.
People are.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But it's
you know.
like, it's the truth. Like,
I mean, yeah, it
you're
is.
not
I see
lying.
both sides of it. But yeah, it is a little jarring, I guess, to hear that or to say it out loud at least, you know? I mean, there are plenty of great kids who can't help that they don't come from two-parent homes. That,
And let
you
me
know,
say this. I've gone through, and not gone through, but I mean, I've seen the pro day process up close. Like, I've been given some pretty cool access to a few pro days where you hear the conversations that NFL scouts are having with sitting college coaches, sitting college weight trainers, sitting with college staffers. And I mean, some of the questions they ask, you're like,
like, is that legal?
Yeah.
like, I mean, like, you remember when the stuff was coming out about Des Bryant when, I mean, it was Jeff Ireland, who's now the scouting director for the Saints, assistant GM. I believe he was with the Miami Dolphins as the vice president. He asked Des Bryant in the pre-draft interview if his mom was a hooker.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
How
They
can
actually,
you
they
ask
can,
Des
that?
Bryant,
they
like,
can
came
ask you
out and was
whatever they
like-
want.
Like, this guy straight up asked me if my mom was a prostitute in that interview
Why
Yeah.
did he ask that?
because of just what we talked about.
Is she a hooker?
I don't know.
We don't know. I mean,
I
but
don't
still,
know.
they'll
But
ask you
they were
whatever.
asking him that in a sit-down interview because behind closed doors, Ireland and his staff have said to one another, "Does he come from a two-parent home? What type of home does he come from? What type of environment did he grow up in?" And somehow the NFL private investigators did not get the information clear enough back to Ireland whether she was or she wasn't, and Ireland needed to get back down to the bottom of it. So he just went straight to the source.
And he
And
probably-
Des Bryant was like, "Say what?"
And he probably followed up with, "Would you pay for a hooker?"
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
like that's the type of questions you get in a draft interview. Like they'll ask you anything.
That's
Anything's on
crazy.
the table.
I mean, like, Des Bryant is like a 6'4", 230-pound, world-class athlete that probably for about 5 minutes wanted to jump across
Oh,
the desk
yeah, he did.
and choke this little dude out. You know what I mean? Like, what about the nuts on Ireland that like say,
Exactly.
"All right, I'm going to ask it." Like before, you know, like the president, the owner, the Dolphins was like, "How are we going to find out about the
The mom
about the
situation.
prostitute deal?" And Ireland
wrong
was
with
like,
the
probably
mom?
like, "Fuck it, I'm asking him." Like, you're going to ask him? Like, I mean, you know, our private investigators couldn't get us a yes or a no. We got 2 yeses and 3 no's. What do you want me to do? We're going to ask the guy.
Just go ahead and ask them.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea that it got like that.
Yes.
I would love to hear some
They
people's
make- they make-
questions.
Man, I mean, like, I saw, like, I was at, like, Leonard Fournette's pro day.
You were?
Like when because like O had just gotten a job, and this is when still like me and O are still cool. you know,
Right.
like, come on in. I'm like, all right, Tony, sweet. You know what I mean? I'm like sitting there, like Leonard's like right here. You know what I mean? Like talking to the Jaguars, talking to like all these people. Like I mean, like people are like grabbing him like this. They just like
That is
Trying to
so
see how-
wild.
Leonard's like,
Chill out. dog.
bro, like get the fuck out of me, man. You know what I mean? It's like,
Can you cough, please?
what time is your first meal every day routinely? Leonard's like,
Huh?
huh? He's like, I mean, like, what time do you go to bed every night? Like, average? He's like, I mean, like, midnight. Frank Wilson, like, shut the fuck up, man. Don't tell him.
8 o'clock.
Like,
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
I mean, it's like just like stuff where you're like, man, you got to be prepared for this stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know? I mean,
I had no idea.
I mean,
It seems like a violation,
did you
right?
it is a violation.
Wait, did you
It
see
has
the-
to be a violation
know.
somewhere. I mean,
Yes.
could you imagine going to a work interview?
Hell no.
Like showing up for an interview that you don't even know these people. You know what I mean? Like you're going into a field where there's 32 organizations that you want to work for. You know, like say you're a chemist and there's 32 chemical companies out there that you're like, these are the ones I want to work for. And the first one you show up to sits across and was like, hey, look, we did a little research on you. We couldn't get down to the bottom of whether or not your mom sold her body for sex. Can you confirm that for us? I mean,
then you sue them. Like, how are they not sued all the time?
I mean, just because they play above the law.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, like, they really do. I mean, the NFL, they get away with everything.
Obviously.
I mean, their field was an ice skating rink in the biggest game of the year.
Right.
I mean, like, the Super Bowl, they played on ice with Patrick Mahomes, and they got away with it.
Yeah.
They got away with it.
Wait, did you see what Gronk said about his pre-draft process?
No.
He said he went to the Patriots thing. He went party the night before at Arizona, University of Arizona. Went party, flew to Foxborough, went to the pre-draft interview. They interviewed him one time in one room, and then they put him in another room. He said he fell asleep on the floor. And, like, the Patriots came in, they talked to him, and they woke him up, whatever, talked to him, and he was like, bro, they're never going to draft me. And then he was like, he said he was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to go to sleep and see what they do. And I don't care where I get drafted. And the Patriots drafted him.
Some of them are too good. You know, some of them are like, screw their situation. Take them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To be, yeah.
You know, like, who cares? He could have, you know what I mean? Like, who cares where he came from?
That's what I was saying. Like, there have to be exceptions.
I mean, you would think, like, Des Bryant would be one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, Des,
You know what I mean? This guy looks like an alien.
Jerry Jones was like,
he
I like him.
runs and jumps and, like, I mean, like,
He could do it all.
Who cares?
What am I supposed to
You know
do?
what I mean, like, just sign him.
Guy runs a 10-1 in 100. What are you
He
supposed
looks
to
like
do?
T.O. at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he
everybody
was.
was trying to, like, find the next T.O., and it looked like Des Bryant was him.
It's so Nicholas says, so Angela Bryan has been busted twice for selling drugs, and in 2012 had Des arrested for attempted murder. She was 15, and Dez's dad was 40 plus when he was born.
See?
Yikes.
Yeah. So, they asked the
College-
right
You think
questions.
college recruiters are asking questions about your family life?
I mean,
You know what I mean? And I don't mean, you know, I don't
yeah,
mean it,
I know. That's a
but
tough
I mean,
one.
Des, how are you going to react
Yeah.
when somebody mother bleeps you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it tells you we don't stand for being late.
Yeah.
You know, like, these are our, and those are questions that you got.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
you don't want to be surprised.
He's got a tricky background,
And-
tricky upbringing.
And the NFL has a lot more money to put it out there and get them private investigators
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the
Jeez.
private eyes on an NFL first round pick.
Oh
Can you
my
imagine?
God.
Like BJ Ojulari, as clean as he is, as he's probably as clean of a prospect that the draft can produce, right? Like every single box you're looking for, he is just community guy, grades, high school leader, has outside interest other than football, is a guy that's never been in trouble. Then you put on the film and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
this cat can go.
You can turn the corner like that?
There's in a room full of 10 people in an NFL evaluating room, 8 of them are saying something's up with him. Something's wrong with him. We got to hire a private eye to follow this cat for the next 3 months until we draft him because we're going to smoke out whatever it is. So we are not surprised 3 years from now when we want to invest another $30 million into this guy that he doesn't say, yo, like, I spend all day at the strip clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like...
It makes sense, really. When you put it like that, it makes sense.
Yep.
You know, it's a lot of money being thrown around
It is.
and being invested in these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
All right, we're going to talk to Chris Blair coming up here at 8:15 this morning. Looking forward to talking to Blair here. LSU baseball hitting the road for the first time this season. We'll talk to Blair about his thoughts on LSU baseball here early on through the first 4 games of the season. And I know that this has not been, you know, a schedule that you would look at and say that they've been extremely tested. But if you look around, the other teams that we had high expectations for are stumbling here out of the blocks. I mean, specifically Tennessee, Texas A&M was beaten the midweek by Lamar and Will Davis. Doesn't mean that things aren't happening. I'm just saying through the first 4 games, all we've heard about is how great and good LSU is going to be, and they looked the part. Mm-hmm. So as they load up and head to Round Rock, Texas tomorrow to take on Kansas State at 2 o'clock, we'll get thoughts from Chris Blair, who is the LSU voice. Obviously, he was on the call last night for the Tigers' win versus Vanderbilt in basketball. We'll ask him about what's next there. Of course, Ole Miss is next on the schedule, so maybe possibly 2 in a row.
Wait, I want to ask you a baseball trivia question that I've been wanting
LSU
to.
or Major League?
LSU.
Okay.
I can't wait to ask it. Okay, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Trey Morgan hit for the natural cycle earlier this week,
Yep.
becoming the first LSU player since
we've already done this.
2010
We've already
to
done
accomplish
this. We've already
it.
done
You
this.
did?
Who
Too
did
easy. Too easy.
When did
too
y'all
easy.
do it?
Yesterday.
Oh,
Yesterday.
man.
Mikey Mazza.
It's Mikey.
Mikey Mazza.
This Mike.
I love that trivia
Did he
question.
get it against, was it Alcorn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Alcorn State.
Yep.
April 6, 2010.
All right, come back with us.
Damn it.
Top of the hour. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. If you have not already subscribed to the show, make sure and subscribe. And if you want to keep up with any of the content that comes out, just click that bell and you'll know when we go live. Come back with us. Hour 2 next, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Nabers, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacy, Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. 48 Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to 48agency.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Thursday. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Don't forget, daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, G-E-A-U-X, Chevrolet.com. G-E-A-U-X, Chevrolet.com to keep up with the latest from our friends down in LaPlace, Louisiana. They also have some dealerships over in Tennessee. Where you can find them there. Didn't do the mailbag segment yesterday. We can get to it now here. As we said, we were waiting on Katie.
Aw, aren't y'all sweet?
She loved the segment.
I do love that segment.
So we will we'll do that now. If you have questions, if you have a text message, if you got a question that you want to jump inside of the chat and put it there, hop in. Let's talk about it. 8:15 this morning. Chris Blair is going to be in studio with us, and we'll talk to Blair about what's coming on. Coming up with LSU sports is the Tigers will be in Texas tomorrow, Round Rock, Texas. For
what is
the,
that? Like
LSU
some kind of tournament?
baseball. Yeah, it's kind of like a round robin tournament.
It's like a minor league field in Round Rock.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, why there?
I think that's the Astros AAA.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I
mean, isn't that kind of a hard place to get to?
I would assume
Corpus Christi is the hard place to get to because it's like an island.
I think I think it's outside of Austin.
Yeah, it is.
Round Rock. So I mean,
people go there for like antiquing or some kind of big flea market thing. A lot of my girlfriends have done that. I have not, but it is a very popular thing to do.
That sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible. That's why I've never gone on one of those trips.
Experience.
It sounds absolutely terrible.
Nice field though.
The Rangers AAA team. Thank you, Andrew Messina. I believe Nolan Ryan runs it.
Oh, really?
I think
That's
so.
cool.
William Ivey, hashtag mailbag. What's the deal with Lloyd? We were worried about him. We tipped off yesterday. We kind of let it slip yesterday that Lloyd's suspended.
Yeah, okay.
Lloyd's fine. Don't worry about Lloyd.
He's
Lloyd's
on mic'd
all right.
up,
He's
y'all.
still
Y'all
working.
know that.
He's on hold the rope, and he's on mic'd up.
I don't know if he's on hold the rope. I think he's just behind the keys.
He's there.
But he's around.
But Lloyd's fine. Lloyd's fine.
Let me give a shout out real quick to the Knights varsity girls basketball team because we're playing today.
Look at her. She
my
got her
playoff
deal.
shirt. We're playing Homa Christian today for the quarterfinals.
Another
Homa
win?
Christian? I thought you said you were playing
Homa
E.D.
Christian.
White.
No, we were playing at E.D. White because
okay,
Homa
okay,
Christian's gym isn't up to par.
Another win?
So wait,
For
it's still the part of the playoffs where you're.
These are the quarters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one goes to the state
Semis.
tournament.
Yeah.
Where's the state tournament this year?
I don't know.
Is it not in
It usually
Lake
is
Charles?
Southeastern.
I
think the
'cause
girls are
last
in
year we
Hammond.
were last year we were in Thibodeau.
at Nichols? Or was it just like in Thibodeau?
Probably
It was
E.D.
at
White.
that. No, wait, maybe it wasn't Thibodeau. It's right outside Harahan, maybe right outside of New Orleans at that big facility.
Oh, y'all were at the Alaria Center.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's where we were. What is that? Is that Harahan?
That is West Wego.
That's right. I don't even know where anything
That's the
is.
wank, playa. The West Bank.
I don't know if it'll be there again or not.
Um,
Hopefully we make it there.
I mean, that's where the Hornets and Pelicans used to train before
Really?
they built their facility.
I mean,
on
it's a
Airline
nice
Highway.
facility.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's where
But
we lost to
NBA
Newman last
team?
year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Like, come on, fellas. we
what
got
are
to get something
doing?
going.
How are we going to get free agents here?
Right. So we're excited.
You play volleyball, Katie?
No, I do not. Why?
Hunter Hall, Katie, how'd the volleyball go last night?
Oh, I don't know, Hunter Hall. Friday night volleyball. I have
What is
no
that?
idea.
What is that? No idea.
Not sure.
Any questions over there?
I mean, we had a basketball game Friday night, Hunter Hall, that we
Yeah,
won.
I think he's
Yo,
confused on that.
Stewie, this is Kenny Stalter. So why did I get the boot? I don't recall being disrespectful to anybody.
No, Kenny's not.
Blessed day.
Kenny, you have not been booted.
Wait, did Kenny get blocked?
Sound like Kenny was sitting on a porch swing.
Yeah.
It did.
Kenny, we
Kinda
don't
had a piece of straw hanging out of
we
his
don't
mouth.
block. Have we blocked anybody?
Yes, we blocked
Was it Rico?
Rico.
Oh yeah.
Was it?
Rico
But-
got blocked.
But he was doing a little too much.
Right.
Yeah.
He just went over the line.
He got into my weight.
Yeah, that was like
He did.
Uh-oh.
He did.
Watch yourself.
No one blocked him.
Cardell said, free Lloyd, take Polian.
Oh, wait. Who
They're
Dat Tiger
together.
said, Katie, your friends go to Round Top, not Round Rock for antiques. I don't even know the damn place. Is there a difference?
Gotta find this round top.
Round
place
Top,
for
Round
Katie.
Rock, whatever.
Oh, look at the conspiracy growing on Lloyd. Andrew Messina, did you guys suspend Lloyd or did WAFB suspend him?
Oh, WFB has nothing to do with
Yeah,
Lloyd.
yeah,
No.
WFB for sure did it. That's who it was, guys.
Let's not muddy up WFB's name. Yeah, we blocked Rico, but he's back as football god. I guarantee that. That's
think
Rico,
that's him?
right?
You think that's
Absolutely, y'all. Come on. That's Rico. It's just a slightly milder Rico. He learned his little lesson.
Round Top is a town in Texas.
I
Round
hope
Top,
nobody
Texas.
blocked Kenny Stalter, though. Kenny's
No,
great.
nobody
No,
blocked
Kenny's
him.
good. Kenny's
Well, where
good.
is he?
We don't have the energy to block anybody. Kenny.
Yeah, I don't even know how to do that.
I don't see him in here, though.
Like, I mean, I probably do know how to do
Round
it.
Top is closer to Houston, they say.
Okay.
Any questions over there, Stewie?
Or
Text?
voicemails.
Yeah, we did get a text.
Or y'all
Voicemail.
call us.
Call in.
Mailbag.
225-229-7741.
Does Jared Jones hit a ball over 500 feet this year? Probably.
I mean, by the one that he hit last weekend. I mean, if it doesn't hit the scoreboard, does that one go 500 feet?
I think it was like 487. So
And rising. I mean, like, thing was like an asteroid.
like he looked up and it was just like, hey, it's
I
going.
mean, that thing must have sounded like a missile coming off of that bat.
Baseball
Have you
God
seen-
just said, "You're wrong, Katie. Just like Round Rock, you were wrong." So my bad. Now he's baseball God.
Have you seen this cat, Jared Jones?
No.
Great ass.
I mean, number one on the ass team.
Unbelievable
Yeah, but is it
ass.
like a bubble butt? I'm not into that.
I
Dylan
never
is-
thought Dylan Cruz could be bumped out of the top spot of the all-ass team.
Okay,
yet.
I'm not into Dylan Cruz's ass either.
Are you?
Katie.
I'm not
serious?
into big ass. We all know
not
this.
big
But
ass.
I'm saying
It is
this
very
guy
bubbly.
he has like the ass that is, it's an athletic ass.
Okay.
This is
Well, let's see
ass.
it.
Hold up.
Pull it up. Pull up that ass.
Gotcha. Shout out to JD, man. Jock gets it all.
JD. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows.
He's the one that talked about the ass.
No, I
No,
think
he
just
posted
took
a
the picture.
Yeah, he posted a
Ah.
video of some ass. And I
Okay.
was like, this is all ass team, JD.
Oh, okay.
Putting porn on Twitter. Just gotta find it.
I mean, this kid's like 6'7".
Jeez.
He is massive.
Where's he from?
You check that. Not Lake Charles.
Imagine
Cornell
playing this.
said Kenny was talking shit about me.
Imagine playing
That's
this
too
kid in
bad.
high school. I got a fucking algebra 2 test tomorrow, and I got a pitch to him. It's from Marietta, Georgia.
Marietta, Georgia.
Ah.
God, 6'4", 230.
Oh, getting
Brock
the call.
TV said, "God, I hate when y'all start talking about man ass."
Get the call. Got a call. Got a call on.
What's your name? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hunter Hall in Huntsville.
Oh, Hunter, how are you, buddy?
Get on us, Hunter. You're mad
How
about
are
that
you,
Bama
man?
talk.
Yeah, right. Nate
I
Oates.
tell you, I'm just sitting here watching Days of Our Lives in Tuscaloosa.
I know it is like that.
It's pretty bizarre. You know,
I thought all the criminals were on the football team.
well, you saw what happened yesterday with Austin Armstrong, the linebackers coach from Southern Miss. He goes to he leaves the football team to go to Florida with Napier. And I think he sees the writing on the wall that's Jeremy Pruitt's going to come back.
Wow.
He said, "Hey, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get this DC job anytime soon. So
I mean,
I'm out."
Pruitt, he's the only guy. Saban in Alabama, that's the only school Pruitt can go to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's still hot. I mean,
Well,
they ain't even ruled on him yet.
It's Will Wade, man. Will Wade is watching Pruitt, and Pruitt's watching Will Wade. I mean, it's the same
You
thing.
better watch yourself over there in Tuscaloosa. You might end up with Will Wade as the coach. Nate's stepping in it.
He's my guy, and I stand by that. But I tell you, he's got to sit him against Vanderbilt. All things considered, Brandon Miller has to sit against Vanderbilt. Looking back on it, and that was a mistake.
Is this
but then
Nate's
the optics of
decision?
that-
This should be Greg Burns'
Look,
decision, right? I mean, this should be
look,
an
yeah, I mean,
administrative decision. Because
yeah,
if
look,
I'm the head coach, until my boss tells me
Nate-
he's not playing, I'm playing him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nate talked to Brandon. Greg talked to Brandon, the AD, the DA, the police. Everybody talked to Brandon. They got a story, and I think they made a decision on it, and they're standing by it. And you know, what kind of optics is it if you sit him on Tuesday at Vanderbilt that week, and obviously you got one player in jail and you've got one player on the bench suspended, and it's like, well, why is that one in jail and why is this one on on the bench suspended. Why aren't they both in jail?
Yeah.
Well, the other one didn't do anything wrong, but hey, playing with guns at 2 a.m., that's a violation of team rules. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do the fans think? I mean, do you feel like he should be sitting? Like, what's the fans' perspective?
Play him, and all this is going to play out after April 3rd and in court, and I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Right it to the end. He's the best player Alabama's ever had.
Well, yeah,
and like I've said several times, Alabama basketball is Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh.
For every good thing, there's an equal bad thing surely to follow.
Oh, I didn't know that was the mentality over there.
Yeah.
Well, that was y'all's football mentality before Saban got there, right?
Everybody wins 10 games at Alabama. But, hey, one thing about basketball, too, you've got Trendon Watford's high school coach. He is at Sanford, and Sanford's in Birmingham. That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And he won the SoCon last night.
Wow.
And I guarantee you Will Wade and Bucky McMillan have some kind of connection still. I'm sure they talk to each other. Everybody talks, or Will Wade talks to everybody. You ought to ask him if he's got any communication with him, because you know who else? Brady was at Sanford.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Sanford has been a nice little hotbed.
Yeah.
So I will. Text me that question or email me that question, and I'll shoot it to Will on Monday for the podcast.
I'll do it. Hey,
thank you, buddy.
Enjoy it, guys. All right, we'll talk soon.
Bye, Hunter.
All right, there is Hunter Hall checking in from Tuscaloosa this morning.
Let's slide that picture on over on the screen, please. Let's see that ass. There we go.
Oof.
Okay.
What a curve.
It's ass there. I told you.
Okay.
What a curve.
This is better than Dylan Cruz.
There's reports out there that he should still be in high school. Was he reclassified?
Really?
Jared Jones?
Yeah.
Nah, he's class of 22.
Okay.
I just looked him up. He was a football prospect. Like,
I'd imagine so.
Kid has a rivals page on football.
What position did he play? Tight end?
It's offensive line, coach. Wearing
Definitely
73.
has a tight end.
Wow. So you in or you out?
I'm in.
Yeah.
See?
Told you.
I like it.
All right, Chris Blair next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Come back with us.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team. Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live on this Thursday morning. Don't forget about our friends over at City Cafe. Stop in and see Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, the crew over there. Fresh oysters daily. They also have daily lunch specials and brunch, which opens up at 10 a.m. every Sunday morning for you if you're out there. O'Neill and George O'Neill. Check them out online, citycafebr.net. Where good friends go to meet, where good friends go to eat. Over 100 years in business. City Cafe, tell them you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, good stuff for LSU basketball last night. It's good to talk about a win for the Tigers as LSU was able to top Vanderbilt 84-77. We mentioned the night that KJ Williams had his career high with 35 and 10 last night. Adam Miller chipped in 18, including making 9 of his 10 trips to the free throw line. I thought that was one of the differences, was his mentality. Here to talk about it with us is in his regular spot, which we're fired up for every Thursday, the voice of the Tigers. Chris Blair is back in studio with us. CB, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's, to paraphrase from the Munchkins from The Wizard of Oz, ding dong, the streak is dead, which is, I'm very proud of the team. And when you're around them as much as I am and you see the work they put in, and there were little flashes of, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, sometimes even 30 minutes in a game where they played well enough to win. They just couldn't put it all together. And, to have the challenge of Vanderbilt, who, coming in last night, maybe one of the hottest teams in the SEC, at least the most consistent the way this conference has gone this year, winning 5 straight, and Liam Robbins now, I think, becoming maybe, the big guy in college basketball. I mean, he does it all. I mean, it wasn't going to be an easy one, even though you're playing at home. For sure. And I just thought they were the more aggressive. And to your point, KJ, 35 points, career high. I mean, he put the team on his back, but I think the difference was Adam Miller, electing not to just want to sit out and hit threes. Coach McMahon told me at shoot-around yesterday they felt like if they matched up Robbins on Williams that KJ could get him out of the lane, get him some three-point looks, which, again, he hit 5 of 10. That's pretty good. But it also opens up driving lanes, and he wanted the guards to be aggressive. And kudos, tip of the cap. I don't know if it was the headband or what, but Adam Miller, I thought, played what the game needed. He didn't try to force what he wanted to do, and I think him driving the ball makes that a different animal for LSU.
We mentioned that this morning. He really played the game that the game presented to him. He didn't force it. I thought that he was his tempo was fantastic. You can tell his confidence, and it was very evident early. Like LSU was in control of that game, it felt like right from the start. They were the better team for 40 minutes.
Yeah, and Coach told us after the game, he told his team, even after they were able to get the lead, they sometimes have a little slow start, and teams tend to knock down some early shots, and that's what Vandy did. But it's, if there's a silver lining to the struggles LSU has had, that shouldn't put them in panic mode when they get down 6-0 or 7-2, whatever the case may be. And for the most part, at least last night, they didn't panic. But when they went on their runs, he told them, hey, Vandy's going to make a run at us, and we have to be able to counter with a punch. And both times in that game, when Vandy cut it to 1, LSU was able to do so. And to me, that's when you started to feel like this might happen tonight.
One bright spot has been the youngsters,
Yeah.
Jalen Reed and Tyrell Ward specifically. Reed played well, I thought, in his 15 minutes last night. What have you seen from these two young guys and how they can contribute and help here?
You can see the confidence in Tyrell Ward. I think this is his 6th, maybe 7th straight start since entering the starting lineup. And even within that time frame, you've seen him be more confident and make better decisions. Now, he's got to find a way to avoid early foul trouble, and that'll leave him in there. I mean, he was perfect from the field, 3 of 3. 2 of 2 from beyond the line. Problem was he got into foul trouble and had to sit in the first half. But I think his upside is huge. And then you talk about Jalen Reed. You're talking about a guy that is an absolute bull. I mean, this is a big kid who has a great handle, probably needs to get a little smoother, a little clunky, but he's got the willingness to go in and drive. And he did that last night. And, again, he fouled out of the game with 6 points, but the foul that he made for the 5th was late in the game. They got it to Robbins, and Jalen was like, I'm going to make these guys shoot free throws because they've struggled tonight. I'm not letting him get to the rim. So he sacrificed himself, fouled out of the game, but I thought it was a heads-up play. And I'll say this about Sean Phillips Jr. There's not a lot of 7-footers that can run and jump the way he does. He's still very raw, But the coaching staff's high on him, and they hope, if he'll stay in the program and get developed. I mean, he could be something because he's super athletic. There's not a lot of 7 feet tall guys that are as athletic as he is.
They threw one to him behind the defense last night, and he made a one-handed grab. And you're like, man, you don't rarely see a 7-footer move and have hand-eye like that so young. I agree with you.
How about the assist to KJ Williams when they needed that bucket across the lane? I mean, that was maybe his best play of the year.
Tell me about KJ. Just watching him play all year, I don't think he's one of these LSU athletes that's going to be real quick, flat. Be a year that you've seen. You're probably watching for 30 games, but a year that you probably won't remember. But a guy who's made an impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, you were looking. I mean, you think back to April, and the coaches don't like me saying this because they don't make excuses. But you look back to last April, there wasn't a scholarship player at LSU, so they have to go and put that back together. They talk Mwani to stay. They get Justice Williams to stay. Then they got to go find some people to fill a roster. And KJ Williams, to me, is a legit SEC player, and he's proven it. He's in the top 20 in scoring this season. He's like second or third for the overall season. He's like 17th in conference play. So if you're a top 20 scorer in the league, you're a legitimate SEC player. It is unfortunate we only get to see him play this year. And this is a guy, you look at his numbers, how many games he's played, how many games he's started, and how many games he's won. And this year has to be tough for him because they haven't been a lot of wins. And he's played well. I mean, he's obviously the most consistent player LSU has on the roster. But he's got a great attitude, man. His family's here a lot. I saw him last night with his family a good 45 minutes after the game. They were still on the floor at the Maravich Center. I give, again, Coach McMahon a lot of credit to be able to keep some type of fire for this team.
Yeah,
because, 3 or 4 weeks ago, they could have said, you know what, I came here for a year and, this ain't working out and we're not winning. And for them to still have that kind of passion and last night put the intensity and focus together to beat a team that was playing as well as Vanderbilt, it says a lot about what's going on inside that locker room. They haven't had a lot of wins to show for it, but I think they still have that team mentality. And I told Matt last night after the game, 1-0, Coach. Now we head to Oxford, try to make it 2-0. And, they're looking for positives. And if you can finish the year on a high note, it's only going to help you moving forward.
Which I think they have a chance Saturday at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that is beatable, especially even in their place. And Chris Blair will be on the call for that in Oxford. I believe Jeff Palermo making the trip?
Yeah, he's going to go to Round Rock. He and Bill Franquez will handle the 3 games there at the Round Rock Classic for baseball. And then he and I are going to pass each other, I guess, in the skies on Tuesday. He's flying back in. I'll fly to Austin, and I'll join up with the team as they take on Texas Tuesday.
Which will be a great one.
Yeah.
Through the first 4 games of the season, I know that you can't strip a lot away from early baseball play, but there's been a lot of hype around this team for a long time. And one thing through the first week of the season is that they look like they deserved it.
Yeah, it's like Jay Johnson tells me all the time, Chris, there's 52 games left, so pump the brakes. We still got a lot of work to do. But no, I mean, watching them and hearing, everybody who follows LSU baseball, the talent, the roster, what this team is going to look like. And I thought through the first 4 games, it is as advertised. It was miserable conditions on Friday for the opener. They moved it up. It still was cold and windy, and, the bats weren't really alive. Paul Skeens, of course, making his debut. He was as electric as you'll see. I think he's got to be, for me, the pitcher to watch in the SEC this year. But they found a way to score. And, you go back to last year, and this is what I think's interesting, and I think what LSU fans are going to be excited about as the season goes on. Last year, there was a lot of, hey, we don't hit and run a lot. We're not aggressive. We don't try to steal bases. It's because they really couldn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't in their MO.
Yeah.
And I thought that in the first opening weekend, you saw them doing whatever they needed to do to scratch runs across. They weren't getting extra base hits. They weren't getting home runs on Friday. But they got several sac flies for RBIs. They were a little more aggressive on the base pads because now he has the components to do that. And we've seen hit and runs already. Saturday it got a little warmer and you started to see a little more pop in the bat. And then on Sunday, it was sheer explosion with 3 home runs and then Tuesday against Southern. You get down 4-0, and LSU fans are like, "Oh my goodness, what's happening here?"
The best was the Tennessee fans that were like on the Twitter, like, "I knew y'all were overrated." Next thing you know, 18 runs later.
Yeah, again, we're 2 innings into the game, guys. Let's hold on a minute, and then like I said, Jared Jones. I mean, Jared Jones is a freshman. He's a DH. He looks like he should be heading to spring training with the Dodgers.
I thought you and Doug's call of that home run was just like
the scoreboard got in the way.
Oh my God!
That thing would have been. They said 467 on track, man. I really believe that thing was headed for like 470, 480. It just ran into the scoreboard. Otherwise, it would have hit the football operations
Doug
center.
was like, oh my God!
I loved when he said, "Hey, you know what? I've seen a few here at the park. I've given up my fair share. I haven't seen many go that far, that fast." And it looked like, if you've ever been to a Major League Baseball game, you'll see a fly ball to left field, and it goes 6 miles high.
Right.
Off the bat, that's what it looked like. I mean, if you can imagine, in our booth, we have a square window we're looking out of. We can see the top of the scoreboard. Most fly balls at the box, we can see go up and come down. That one just went straight up, and it just – we had to wait a second to see, is that really going to get out of here? Because it looked like a Major League pop fly, but it went 467 feet, which and how about Trey Morgan?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that's a story. I mean, that night will be talking about LSU baseball
I guess
history.
they're still looking it up. I was joking with Todd Politz, who kind of handles all the history, and he's got these big, giant leather-bound books that has all of the, newspaper clippings from the 40s and the 50s. They were trying to find out if anybody for LSU had hit the cycle in the natural order. There's been several. Again, Mikey Matuk had the last one in 2010. But I don't think they've been able to solidify that anybody has done it in order. And then as they were researching that on the fly during the game, they sent us a note and said it's only been done 14 times in Major League Baseball. And they've been playing that sport for a long time. So, to witness that, I haven't personally at the college level at LSU, I haven't been at a game where a Tiger hit for the cycle, obviously, since it hadn't been done in 2010. But to have it done in order, and for Trey Morgan, who you come off the weekend 0 for 8.
I agree.
And anybody who knows him goes, first 3 games, that's not a big deal. You know what he can do with a bat. And then I guess he was not happy with his performance because he came out Tuesday and just 4 for 5. And lost in all of that was he was one ribby shy of a school record for a single game. He had 8 RBI.
Wow.
We were all talking about the cycle, but if he had one more RBI, one more at bat, I mean, the guy could have, tied the school record for most RBI in a game.
One more in baseball. Defensively, I think is a storyline that will, we're talking about all this power and all these names and pitching. But last year, if you remember, defense was an issue, and through the first 4, 0 errors looks really good. Yeah,
it's like I know you had Ben McDonald on. Ben was talking to me last week, and he said, for LSU to defend at 96, 97 is kind of an oddity. They've always been, at least in recent memory, 98, 99, I mean, close to that. And so last year was a dip down. And again, there were guys playing out of their natural position. They didn't have a lot of people to go to. And if a guy had a tough day, it was hard for Jay to look into the dugout and go, okay, you go in. They were just limited to what they had. I think Ben Napolt defensively, I mean, again, we're just 4 games into the season, but I think, his multi-use ability and his skill set at both second and third now with Tommy White still waiting to get back into the lineup, I think that's a big piece. The fact that Jordan Thompson and that Coach Jay Johnson should get a lot of credit here. He's believed in Jordan since day one and really feels like he has the potential to play at the next level. And he's been happy with Jordan's progression, what he's done in the offseason, and so far so good. And then you got the rest of the guys. Trey Morgan's as good a first baseman as you'll find in the country. I just think defensively, we may talk about home runs. We may talk about this really solid pitching staff. But that number, I think, will be the one that we can look at throughout the season and go, hey, there's a reason they're winning games, and it's because they're not making mistakes in the field.
You're heading to Austin on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're a big music guy.
Yeah.
You played Vanderbilt last night, but it was in Baton Rouge.
Right.
Better music town, Nashville or Austin?
I'll go Nashville, and I know it's easy because that's where country music. That is the industry lives there. But that's kind of more my speed. I mean, I grew up in Eastern Kentucky, so being Nashville was kind of near us. Austin is there's some guys and groups from Austin that are real near and dear to me. The late great Jerry Jeff Walker was one of my favorites, and he was a I contributor to the Austin scene.
He's a 6th Street idol.
Yeah. Robert Earl Keen, of course, who is fantastic. So, I mean, I think you got to give Nashville the edge because when you go to Nashville, sure, they have the NFL and they've got, a footprint in the SEC from a sports town, and don't forget the Preds in Smashville. But to me, Austin's got a lot more going on,
Yeah.
and Nashville's all music. I mean, it is. I got a buddy of mine who works for Curb Music, and it is 24/7 music for him. I mean, sun up to sundown, it's his job, it's his hobby, it's his love. And when you go to Nashville, I mean, if you just landed off Mars, you're going to know within 3 minutes that music is number one. That's why it's called Music City. So, but Austin's a cool place. I think maybe they win in the food truck department over Nashville. I'd give them the edge.
What were your thoughts of adding Oklahoma and Texas to more road trips for you? This is more west. I mean, everything you do is east outside of College Station.
I mean, I understand it. I mean, at some point, I give the SEC credit. You can make some type of argument that it is still the Southeastern Conference,
Right.
although it's getting close to the West.
South.
But, it's inevitable, and it's a financial deal. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you've got the Big Ten I think they took a bigger leap, in adding the West Coast schools. Their footprint certainly is different. But while naturally, geographically, they've been tied to the Midwest, the name doesn't say that. They're just the Big 10 or Big 18, Big 16, whatever they end up being. But for the SEC, you just have this romanticized, hey, it's the Southeastern Conference. But from a logical and, like I said, financial standpoint, I mean, you're adding Texas and Oklahoma, two major brands in all sports, certainly in football. So, I think it'll add another nice little trip to go to, something different that we haven't seen. Give us somewhere else to go other than Gainesville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take both Austin and Norman over Gainesville any day of the week.
For sure.
But I don't think we're done yet, and I don't think anybody's done yet. So I think we're headed towards these massive power conferences, and there'll probably be, I don't know, 4 of them when we're all said and done.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Collective bargaining coming as well. I mean, it'll all be here pretty soon.
Yeah.
This is year 7?
Baseball year 8, season 8.
Year 8. Okay,
Yeah.
so year 7 on outside sports, year 8 on baseball. Have you done Mardi Gras? What's your thoughts on? Now
I did that. I did that earlier. I mean, coming
You're usually
from,
always working. Around this time.
that's true. But my wife was pretty insistent that you brought me here to South Louisiana
You gotta
and
experience
you
it.
sold me on all this great stuff going on. You got to at least take me to a few.
Right.
So we have. I've done parades. One of the ones I did rode with you guys.
That's right.
And then been to a couple of the balls, but most of the time I'm busy, and now we've got 2 kids that are very active in their sports, and because I'm gone so much, unfortunately, my wife, bless her, she has to handle that. So when it's time, when we do have a night where I'm not doing a game and the kids don't have a game and we can just be at home, like it probably outweighs going and rebel rousing the way we used to back in the day. But yes, it's part of what I love about being here. I said it before. I grew up in a small town in Kentucky. But once I got to Louisiana with the music, the culture, the food, and, willing to throw a party at the drop of a hat, I felt like this is where I should have been born because I'm down with all of that.
For sure.
It's just I don't have the time to do it as much as possible. I got a question for you.
Hit me.
Go back to baseball. So a lot of people didn't like the rule changes,
Yes.
speeding up the game, so to speak. I love the fact that coaches got to sprint to the mound now for a visit. 30 seconds, and that's it. But hey, we've had 4 games under 3 hours.
You know who I thought about first was your predecessor.
Oh, I'm sure Jim Hawthorne loves it. I'm sure I might be able to get him out of retirement
No doubt
to
about
do
it.
a game.
Hey, bud.
If it's only going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I'm not one of those that just complains about long games.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a great game, I'll go 17 innings. That's just not a problem. It's just like when you're playing that many games and you're trying, I think, to keep the people engaged, not the diehards. They're going to be there whether it's a 2-hour game or a 7-hour game. I'm just talking about the fringe, on the edge sport fan that knows about LSU baseball. But if you can package that on television or within the venue in 2 hours and 45 minutes, I think that's what's led to the explosion of LSU gymnastics, SEC gymnastics, is the SEC network can package that in a 90-minute boom, boom, boom. We're done.
Yeah.
I think the same thing could be said for softball, the speed at which that game is played. Again, they don't play 9 innings, but you can fit it in these windows. Yes, the pace and the window you can put it in. And I don't want to change baseball completely, but I am not going to complain about 2 hours and 45 minutes for a game.
I don't want to flip it over and change it completely either, but it has to adapt.
Yeah, and I
needs
think
to
the
keep
10-run
up.
rule for the SEC, which everybody, I think, a lot of people lost their mind when that leaked before it was officially announced. But Todd Politz's again, give him another name drop. I mean, he went back the times in SEC play where LSU would have been affected by the 10-run rule one way or the other is minuscule. Like, I'm talking 1 or 2 games for like the last 10, 12, 15 years after 7 innings. And the SEC is so well balanced. There's so many good coaches and players. And I don't see a lot of games getting sideways. And if they do after 7 innings, by God, you ought to call it. I mean, and I think most, except for Dave Van Horn, he's been against all of these changes at Arkansas. He don't like any of it.
Right.
But I think most other coaches are like, hey, if it's 7th inning and we're getting our eyes beat in 15-4,
let's not burn any more arms.
yes. I mean, and I think you can make the argument that's for a player safety issue.
I agree.
Ultimately, I think all of the changes are based on just speeding up the game, making it more appealing to a wider audience. And the major leagues are doing the same thing. The only rule that I don't necessarily agree with is, limiting the pickoff opportunities for a pitcher for a base runner, because I think there's a lot of strategy there. I mean, you think of the kid at Vanderbilt last year and the year before that who he was stealing bases at a record clip.
That's right.
When he's on first, he's taking an 8-step lead. And to not be able to throw but twice in the major leagues, which I think is egregious.
Yeah.
But also with the pitch count, the way they work it now, I mean, you can attempt a pickoff move, but you've got to counter that. You've got 30 seconds to get that pitch to the plate, and it won't reset when you throw over to first. So to me, that changes the strategy a little bit, and I think that pickoff moves are a big part of the game. So that's the one that I'm a little not 100% on, but everything else I'm all in.
And one that Jay, I'd imagine, had to really get comfortable because that was his style.
Yeah.
He liked to squeeze it. You know what I mean? He liked to kind of
How many times last
drain
year
it.
he would call timeout, and you could almost see a grin on his face because he was like, look, we need to slow this down. They've got momentum. I'm going to call a timeout. We're going to sit over here and chat a little bit. And he also uses it for strategy. But, it changes it now when you only got 30 seconds. Or then you put some trouble on your batters or pitchers, as it were.
Have a good trip to Oxford.
Yeah,
Good
man.
Call to with Ole Miss. Hopefully the Tigers can put 2 in a row together on the wood. John Brady and Chris Blair will be on the call. That'll be a Saturday tip for you coming up at 7 o'clock on 7:30 on Saturday night. 30-minute pregame for Blair and Brady before tip-off, and then, of course, following after, we'll have Coach Matt McMahon courtside wrapping it up. And as he said, Jeff Palermo and the Golden Pipes of Bill Franquez will be down in Round Rock for the baseball tournament this weekend, and then Blair's back on Baseball Tuesday in Austin as LSU will be taking on the Horns. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, man, you guys too.
And
we'll
want
to wish John Brady safe travels. He's already on his way to Oxford.
Wow.
He's got big events going on, so he's going.
Yes.
He's going a little early. I'll catch up with him.
Rolling out the red carpet. Air Force One's already in the air, huh?
Yeah, he's already on his way,
okay.
but I'll catch up with him Friday.
All right. The Voice, Chris Blair. Follow him on Twitter at LSU Tigers Voice, and every single Thursday, a guest here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're excited about that. Come back with us, and we'll close it out. Compliments of Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Nabers, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Gras Chevrolet. Appreciate Chris Blair, as Blair stopping by here on his Thursday regular assignment. Good to catch up with the voice. Hopefully some cool stuff comes from this.
I know.
Are you kidding me? All right, I appreciate Chris Blair for being here. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. All good stuff. All good stuff. I don't think
Don't be scared.
Yeah, right.
Jordy.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Good to have the Carpool Queen back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to be back. I know
Good
y'all
luck to the
took a little
Knights.
break. Thanks. We're excited about our game
Let's go.
tonight. Hopefully,
Let's
I'll
go.
come back with a win.
Let's go, man. And we'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Today is what? Thursday. So we got Thursday. We got Nick Diaz and Out of My League coming up 3 o'clock for their last assignment of the week. And then we will have, that's it for Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be getting you ready for baseball with Mikey Matuk and the crew at getting ready for the round. Oh, I guess tomorrow is going to be weird because of the 2 o'clock first pitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the
Might do a little, probably do a little recap, maybe.
Maybe a watch party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a watch party.
See, that's a long watch party.
Maybe so. All right, come back with us tomorrow, 7 a.m. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Gras Chevrolet.